Okay, so in the last video we finished off making this blower table is what it's all about here, and this time we're going to take a look at getting this thing ready for making the cut list or bill of material. One thing I had to adjust, found out that there's a hole cut through the table that is not shown in the sketches, so I'm just going to go ahead and stick that hole in here. I don't know where it's supposed to go yet, and it's going to be determined by the other components that are going to end up sitting on the table. So I'm just going to cut a hole through the table, sort of in preparation for that, and just to mention it later. Now, if we want to create a bill of material or cut list for a weldment, we have to take a look at the cut list, the list of all the solid bodies in this multi-body part, and the first thing we have to do is right-click on the cut list and update. And what that does, it basically just collects like parts and groups them together in folders. So, but it doesn't always do it right, so we have to check and see. We may have to help it out manually. So if we look at the first folder here, it's grabbed the first two hollow structural sections, and they're the same length, so that makes sense. And in the next folder, it's got two of the other two longer pieces of hollow structural section. That makes sense. And going down here, it picked up the 6 legs. Knows that they're all the same length and all made from the same material. And it's also found the cross brace in the middle there. It's a different length than the other pieces, so that makes sense. It's found 12 gussets, and that's perfect. And it's found the 6 base plates because they're all the same size, and it's also found the one plate that's welded to the top of the table, so it's worked perfectly this time. Sometimes it does not, and what you end up having to do is to open up one of the lists and sort of drag and drop the parts into the list that they actually belong in. This kind of thing happens when you perhaps when you add some pieces to the weldment that are the same size of pieces that are already there, and you just need to collect them and put them in the right directories. That way you can make sure that all be added up properly in the bill of material or the cut list. So now if we have to add items to the bill of material, we want to set properties for each of the items in the cut list. So right now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's going to be like 7 items in our bill of material. So if we right click on the first one, we can start adding properties for it. You'll see that we've already got length available for us, and we've got a description, but I'm going to override that, and I want to make it something that's more meaningful to the shops that I deal with. So I'm going to call this one HSS for hollow structural section, 1/4 inch by 3 inch by 3 inch. And we have the length, it's 35 inches, but I'm going to put it in anyway, so it's easily available for the guy that has to do the cutting. And the reason I'm doing the list in this way is really just to standardize it so that I can sort the bill of material and make it easy for the purchasing agent and for the guy who has to cut the steel to be able to go through it and do all his cutting operations and all the purchasing. The next thing I want to add in is material, and the material is going to be A36, and I'll give them a choice, or 44W. Those are the two types of steel that we use mostly in Canada. 44W is the what we might call the official one. A36 is more a lower grade of steel that we used to use before 44W came along. Then we have we need the weight. Every time you make a bill of material, you want to know the weight, because in many cases weldments like this are priced on a per pound basis. So we'll enter the mass, and we have 25 pounds for that particular HSS, 3x3 by quarter by 35 inches long. So that's the information we're going to be entering for each of these. Now the HSSs are, this is the same for the other HSS, so we'll have again the same structure of description, quarter by 3 by 3. I'll put in the length. It's given for me at 67, and I'll put in the material, A36 or 44W, and we'll put in the weight, and call up the mass here, so it's 47 pounds for that particular one, and that will do for that. Now that'd be the same for these legs again. They're the same type of material. That's the same type of material. Let's do these gussets because they're a little bit different. And here it doesn't have length or thickness or width because they haven't been defined. This is not a part of the structural steel library that I imported, so these things aren't there. So we have to add them in manually. And here the description, it's a 1/4 inch plate. So I use the old-fashioned way here, put the 1/4 inch first, tell people it's a plate in capital letters, and I know it's 12 inches by 12 inches, and I want to know the weight, or there's the material, might as well put that one in now. That's A36 or 44W again, and I want to know the weight, so let's find that. And mass, 5 pounds for each of those gussets. So that's all I need for that one. And what else have I got here? I've got the base plates. They're 1/2 inch, but I don't know what the size is, so better go find out. So let's just take a quick look down here. So here the size is 6 by 4 by 1/2. Okay, so now we can enter this one. Properties and description, 1/2 inch plate, and that's smallest number and largest number, 4 by 6, and that takes care of that. And the last item is the big plate, the 1/4 inch plate on the top, and that gets entered the same way, 1/4 inch plate by, you have to find out the dimensions here. So there's one there is going to be 34 inches, and one there is going to be 66 inches. So that last item, properties, description, 1/4 inch plate, 34 inches by 64 inches. And let's get the weight in there. Material A36 or 44W, and the weight. And put the mass in there. 133 pounds just for that one plate. So now we've got enough information in there to get a total weight for the bill of material, so that'll keep everybody happy, and we're ready when we want to put the drawing together. So that completes the modeling part of the table, and we're going to move on here to doing the assembly.